Hello and welcome back to Motivational Mondays. My name is Brittany, and I'm all bossed up. And Sarah Stiles, I got here. She's also a boss in her own right. I'm so excited to be doing this interview with her tonight. Just so you guys know, if you haven't watched my show before, Motivational Mondays airs generally at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I had a special time for Sarah because she's such a busy lady. So I changed it to 6 p.m. and it's actually better for me too. So for tonight, it's going to be 6 p.m. I am thinking about changing it also, just so you guys know, it may change to this time permanently. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it because Sarah has, what show is it that you do tonight? What is the name of it?
Yeah, I do a YouTube live every Monday. I call it an accountability, but it's really just a chat. Various different resellers come on and we end up talking about whatever every Monday. So right after this, yep.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First question. I really wanted to know, because I'm kind of familiar a little bit with how you got started with I know you were a hairdresser before, but I wanted to know, like, that's probably where the name came from, correct? You know what I mean? Like the Sarah Stiles, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, a little bit. So when the name came, I was doing hair out of my house, as well as upcycling. So the styles was kind of encompassing all kinds of various things that could be styled. My husband actually came up with it, and I'm glad that it was such a wide spectrum. So I don't have to like rebrand or get a new logo, or it's been with me now for like, I don't know, 6-7 years now. And it kind of has encompassed anything that I have done. So a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay. And so from that, I mean, I wanted to talk about like what you've done in the past, that just something that I don't think other people touched on, because you've done a few interviews, like some of the work that you've done in the past that might correlate to what you're doing right now. Like, how did you integrate that, or what skills did you learn from what you used to do that you actually incorporate still even now?
I think everything that I have done in the past has led me to my job right now, because I used to be a hairdresser. And one of the hardest struggles for me as a hairdresser, doing hair was easy, but I came out of high school, and it was hard to like talk and communicate with people. You guys see me on YouTube where like I can be outgoing because it's on YouTube, right? But like in normal circumstances, I'm very like quiet and not very talkative, and an introvert kind of. And so as a hairdresser, I really had to work on how to talk to people. And so I think that comes out in my YouTube. I have learned how to talk to people. I went to school to be a math teacher. So teaching on YouTube is now coming out. Teaching math on YouTube has come out there. And then having a background in data analytics. And so I have a degree in mathematics. I was doing forecasting, energy and demand forecasting, and statistical modeling in corporate America before I stayed home with my kids. So that's, I was looking at large data sets and building statistical models and making decisions for the company based off of large data sets. So that's kind of how the math and the looking at data and using data-driven strategies to run your business. And then I've thrifted my entire life. I was one of 6 children, and so we thrifted out of necessity. And by the time I got to the late years in high school, I started to appreciate it. Before, I was always really ashamed of it. Like,
it seemed like it wasn't cool, but now it's like, it's the thing to do. It's where you need to go.
I know. And it wasn't so much that way, but by the time I got out of high school, I started upcycling. So I would take stuff from the thrift store and then I would make it into something new. And I had a lot of friends that were like, oh, that's so cool. Can you make me something? And so I've been doing upcycling on and off since high school. And only in the most recent time, I went strictly to reselling instead of upcycling, just because I have 3 kids now and it's really hard to hand make stuff when you have 3 kids. So after I had my youngest 3 years ago, I kind of stopped with the upcycling and went to just reselling. So everything that I have done, I've had various different careers and jobs, and they've kind of all like formulated really nicely to put me in this position that I'm in right now. So
yeah, I mean, because I'm going to say for me personally, just being in retail, like alone, like really gave me a lot of skills, like for the customer service and patience, for real. Like I had to have a lot of patience, because a lot of what they did in upper management at this particular company was just not fair. It just wasn't fair, but you had to still do what you had to do because you got to eat, you know what I mean? And at the time, I didn't know what else I was going to do. I just bought a house, and so just graduated from college, but I knew going into my actual field, which was health administration, was definitely not going to give me, I couldn't do an entry position.
Yeah.
But I would say if I had it to do all over again, as far as college is concerned, I don't even know if I would go, but you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, maybe if I would have had a career path, you know how you can, I never had that. I don't know. They need to do that in schools or whatever. And, you know, by that time, that way you can kind of have a plan, and then you can try to figure out what you're going to do. And then if it's not working out or whatever, have something else already planned or another path that you could easily cut a corner and go that way, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Too many people go and get a degree and don't do anything with it. I'm one of them.
No, it makes sense because I didn't go to college until I was 25. So I went to beauty school in high school, and I was like, this is fine. I don't like, they push college, but I was like, I can be a hairdresser. And then by my mid-20s, I was like, well, this is going to kill my body if I do this for 30 years. And it's very difficult because you're working you're essentially working for yourself. And if you don't have clients, you don't get paid. So I think that doing that also helped me in this job. You know, the customer is always right, essentially, because they're paying your bills, right? Like, even if they're not right, you want them to come back because they're paying your bills. And just learning, like, if you're not working, you're not getting paid. But, you know, after I got to about 25 and I was like, this is going to be a really hard career to do forever. And so I did end up going back to school, and I don't love it. It comes across, I appreciate math, obviously, if you guys watch my channel, but I didn't love it. I would have much rather have gotten a degree in something that I loved, but I wanted a job. And I went to school to be a teacher, and math teachers were high needs. And so I was like, okay, I guess I will get a degree in math so I can teach high school.
Okay.
And then the economy crashed and I couldn't get a job. So but then I could get a job in corporate America with a degree in math. So it worked out.
You say you generally, as a general, like to teach. Like, that's not something that you have a problem with at all. I noticed a lot of your videos. I wanted to say hi to Call It Favor. Who else is in the chat? To Tasha, Regina, thank you so much for joining. But no, I wanted to say, you know, like, I was like, I was looking at your videos right before we started, and I was like, she has a lot on Poshmark. Those are some of your most popular videos. Do you know, like, I'm like, I don't know why, but, you know, did you just keep putting them out because you saw, oh, a lot of people want to know about this? Or how did that go? Like, or do you just know you like doing that kind of thing? Like, because I was like, wow, there's a lot of Poshmark stuff here.
I mean, it's a little bit of, yeah. So I started strictly as a Poshmark seller. 2 years ago. But then in the past year, I've become more eBay, and eBay now is definitely way bigger than Poshmark is for me. Wow. But my Poshmark videos do better. I don't know. And what's funny is I use like TubeBuddy to tell me, like, use this SEO, and it like ranks everything. And it ranks the Poshmark videos much lower, but then I put them out and they always do well. I think it might be because my Poshmark videos are slightly different than a lot of other Poshmark videos. Like, I will take sample data and look at math and do data-driven strategies. And that's not a lot of the Poshmark data. And the ones that I've been putting out lately have been, I don't want to say controversial, but more controversial than I normally would do. And so I think that's kind of, you know, when you do a title that says I'm quitting,
right,
people want to watch it.
It's those cool titles where they're like, I wonder what this is about. Because I mean, I have noticed that does pull me in. I was like, I wonder what that is, though. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I need to come up with some better titles. I was like, I can look at some of yours and come up with some ideas. You know,
it's a struggle. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's hard. I still struggle with that. Trying to find the titles to pull people in without being clickbait, right? So you don't want to pull them in and then not talk anything about what it's about, but you want it to be good enough that they're like, oh, I do want to know what that's about.
Right. If you had to go back into a profession that you were doing, we already talked about your older profession as a hairdresser and doing the teaching and all of that. But if you had to do something, you know, if you had to go back to one of your old careers, you didn't have no choice. You know what I mean? Which one would it be? Right. I'm sorry, you know?
If it was out of necessity, it would probably be out of necessity for our family, right? Like we needed the money.
Yeah.
But I still have 3 kids at home. So, and we've talked about this. I would probably be back into hair because it's very flexible. And you can, I could probably easily, I've kept my license. I know I haven't cut hair and except for like my mom in probably 5 years. But I just keep renewing my license because it is a pretty easy job to fall back on. And I could easily go and, they're very flexible in their hours so that we could still deal with the kids. Teaching, I have a huge passion for it, but there's been a spotlight on it during COVID to see what a hot mess it is. And that's one of the reasons I didn't go into it. And now, it's really being shown how awful it is. Not teachers and not, administrations, but just, it's such a broken system that I would love to be able to help. I wanted to do secondary, so high school, and I'd love to be able to help them. It's just really hard to do because of all the bureaucracy.
I would say just that was one of the hardest things for the quarantine for me, becoming also a teacher, because I was like, man, I got to put her schedule. I put my schedule down. I got to put hers down. And every 2 hours, I have to go check and make sure she's doing what she's supposed to do. But honestly, I mean, it really wasn't working that well because she's just, her attention span is just not that strong. So honestly, I would need to actually set up shop right next to her for it to really work. And then that way I would know, she didn't get up and go do this or wander off during that 2 hours because stuff was still not getting done. I mean, even though I was checking and checking back. Now, did you do that? Did you do it? And then she would have an excuse for this and an excuse for that. But I would be like, well, did you email your teacher? That's your responsibility to make sure you reach out to them first and then use me as a backup. What I mean? It was like I had to basically become a teacher. I mean, eventually at the start of it, she did get good. But then when we had to go back, that's when she was just like, just this environment, Mom, being here is just, I want to just relax. I just don't want to work. You know what I mean? And I was like, I do understand that though. Environment does have, something to do with it. So I was like, yeah, quarantine for me was hard.
Yeah, I have 3 kids, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a autistic ADHD 15-year-old. So remote teaching for 10 months was intense because it wasn't just, like once I got one kid started, then it was like the other one, my 3-year-old drew on more walls and got into more trouble. And I say trouble because he wasn't being supervised because I was with the other kids, right? Like he was just being a 3-year-old. So it was intense. I'm glad, at least in our state, they're back in school for now. Hopefully it's towards, downwards and things are getting better.
Glad, Regina, you're enjoying your conversation. So what's one of the best things you would think? I would say what's the worst, but I think I kind of already know. You know what I mean? So what's your favorite thing? Let's be positive today. It's Monday. We need to be motivated. So what's your favorite thing about reselling?
For me, it's the flexibility for sure. Just having this job and being able to be flexible, but reselling in general, I've always loved thrifting and being able to go to the thrift store and, treasure hunt. I think the sourcing for most of us is what we love the best. It was hard during the quarantine because we couldn't source as much. But our thrift stores are open and I've been going more regularly. And so I think definitely the sourcing is the best part, aside from the flexibility with being able to be there for the kids and be on my own schedule.
Right. All it said, call it favorite said clickbait draws people away. Yeah, I do think so, but I don't know. I mean, I think if it's like a clickbaity title and then I find out that they're not really giving me whatever they say it is, but it's still interesting, sometimes it still works. Like I'll still sit there and watch the video, but I'll be like, well, they really didn't deliver on what they said they were going to do. But I mean, I at least I was entertained, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's clickbait if people don't watch, right? That's my definition. So I'll do and you have to talk about it. I'm not going to be like, look at this huge Goodwill haul. And then I talk about selling on eBay, not correlated at all. But I feel like if you do something and it kind of, you say it in your video, and people stay, so you can look at your retention rates. And if people stay and watch the video, then in my mind, it's not clickbaity. It's just a good thumbnail and a good title. That's what I tell myself about it.
You were actually talking about something so that people stayed,
Yeah, exactly.
But, I know that so trying to think. I think you had, I don't know if it was a video or not, but it was like, I think 2,000 to like 10,000, like a month. Was it a video? Was it a YouTube video?
Yeah, it was a series.
No.
It
Okay.
Well, it was a series. I did. So Chris from Daily Refinement, he's a big eBay seller. He was looking for a mentorship. So I did a mentorship with him, and we were supposed to be over the course of a year. I set a goal, and I was like, I want to get to, I think my goal started as I want to do 2,000 a week reselling, where I was doing 2,000 a month. 25, 3,000, something like that. I don't remember what we started at, but it was a weekly mentorship. And then the pandemic hit and it went to a monthly mentorship because I was then remote teaching 3 children. And then after 6 months, I made it to 10K in a month. So we kind of just, it was like, well, that's a great place to stop. So yeah, it's a live mentorship. I have a playlist for it on my channel. And that's really when I started getting big into eBay. So if you are looking at eBay and trying to figure out how to do things on eBay, that's probably a great place. If you're looking for my content, a great playlist to watch, because it was like, I started the mentorship and I was making like 10 sales a month on eBay. And then by the time I finished the mentorship, I was making 10K. And it was like, check in and here's what you do. And, so very elementary almost to grow. So
That's cool. Okay, so you pretty much follow that, follow this program, or is it systematic? Because he seems like he's definitely, I went to his 8 a.m. mastermind calls. I love Chris. Don't get me wrong. Hey, if you're not following Chris at Daily Refinement on YouTube or on IG or something, really mainly on YouTube, because he does a lot of videos. He puts out a lot of content, very relaxed. I always like that about him, that I didn't have to listen to somebody that was annoying, but and he always just kept it real. Like, he's a real calm, and very humble. He still is humble today, but somebody good to watch though, her mentor. But going from 2,000 to 10K, what would you say the most important thing was to do, or was it just to follow, the tips, like the small things, like add up and they count?
Yeah, I think the 2 most important things to do, for me, it was get on eBay. There was no way I could have gotten that growth had I not figured out eBay. And figuring out eBay is basically just being consistent, and it's a long-term relationship. You're not going to go on in 1 week and make 10K. You have to really consistently give eBay what it needs. And that's the biggest thing that works for me. And then on the back end, because this was when we started the mentorship, this was all as my hours as a reseller were dwindling because I was now a remote teaching parent, so I was, instead of having a couple hours when my kids were at school, and just a 3-year-old home, I had no time. I went from like 20 hours to maybe 5 hours of reselling. So Chris was really helpful, and he's very good with processes. And so he really helped my back end, continuing to grow my business while lowering the time that I spent, which I appreciated too, because he's very big on making time for your family. Like, why are you working so hard to be with, most of us are like, we want to be with our family, and then we end up just working all the time. Right. True. And so he did, he was helpful with the balance as well.
Yeah, because I know I find myself doing that too. Wanted to say hi to Rhonda. Rhonda's in the chat.
Rhonda.
Wanted to say hi to Anubis, hi to Lewis, and hello to Tiana.
Tiana.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. But no, so I wanted to know, because I know that you have help, but so what are you doing? Like, I guess we'll go there. Like, what do you do? What part do you do of the business or whatever now that you have help? How does that work?
That's a valid question. And I think it's very important to bring up, because to scale your business, like, there's only so many hours in the day to scale your business. Most of these people that you're watching that are making lots of money, they have employees, they have VAs, right? So when you're comparing yourself to them, and you're like, why am I not? If you're doing it all by yourself, right? That makes sense. So I was using a VA a little bit before I started the mentorship with him, but I have a VA to do my listings. So they create drafts, and I have 2 now, just because I only had 1, and then she had to get pulled away from doing it. And then I was like, well, crap, I don't have anything. So it was kind of a scramble for a couple of weeks. So I have 2 now, just in case something happens, that, I have backups, but they create the listing. So I source, I take photos, I send them all my photos, and they create drafts in eBay. And then I, review them and launch them. And then I do the shipping. So that's all the things. And then social media too, right? But as far as listings, so I do everything but the actual creating the listing.
I think that's the part that I don't like the most. So I probably need to follow that model. It's the sitting down at the computer. I don't mind steaming. I could do photos. I can do, all the other stuff. It's fine with me. Going to get it. Even washing the clothes, or whatever, washing or steaming, I'm okay with that. But it's just like the sitting at the computer for an extended amount of time is annoying. It's just like dry. Like I was telling somebody that, like, it's boring to me. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm good at it. It's kind of like writing papers. When I was in college, I was really good at writing papers. Just didn't like it. You know what I mean?
And I'm not. What I'm the worst at. I'm definitely, people ask me questions on how do you list this, and I'm like, I don't know. I pay someone to do it because they're better than I am. And it's the part that I hated the most, but then also it is, besides sourcing, which I like, it's hard to do with the children around. I can ship with my kids around. I can take pictures when they're around, but sitting down, I was, sitting down to do listings, and I would mess things up because they would come interrupt me, or it was just really hard to find a couple hours to sit down and do it. So that's kind of why I decided to outsource that part of it.
When your VAs are like doing the listings for you, do they pretty much fill in all the item specifics?
They do everything. I don't do anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because I know I was thinking about doing like Salehound, or I don't know what the other one is, Salehound, and then there's another one, Hammock or something like that. Yeah. But they do, they have a service for you too. But I was like, I don't want to upload my pictures, first of all, like one at a time, like each picture. And then I don't want to have to go. It feels like I'm doing something twice. Mm-hmm. Like I want to upload these pictures once to my computer or AirDrop them or whatever. That's what I normally do, AirDrop. And then I'm running them through Photo Room or whatever. That's first. And then I just want to do it once, though. I put everything in my spreadsheet. Do you have a spreadsheet, or how do you work that part of it? No,
I have a spreadsheet. Yes, I have multiple spreadsheets.
I'm sorry. I'm not one person. My bad. I ask everybody that, though, because people don't do it. Like I don't know how I would survive without a spreadsheet.
And I actually take that back. So they also do the spreadsheet too. I have a spreadsheet for my finances. So my cash flow, right? Like when I spend money, when money comes out of my bank account, when I get paid, I have a separate spreadsheet for that. Like if you're ready to do a QuickBooks or Quickens, I just am very comfortable in spreadsheets. So I do it in spreadsheets. And then I have, I have my dashboards so that you have access to your analytics and stuff. And so that tracks all of my listings. And so when my VAs list something, they also put it in the spreadsheet. And then I have a VA the same lister, when he lists every day, he goes in and takes out anything that's sold for the day and updates the spreadsheet there. This is a fairly new thing that I'm trying, because I have a couple of things going on that may end up panning out that are going to take more time. So I'm having them do that as well. Yeah. But I feel your way too, because the Hammock, the Salehound, where you have to upload your own pictures, I'm like, well, then I might as well just finish doing, like, I send them an email. I send them an email of the photos and they do the rest. And then before I, hit list, I go through and I kind of just quickly review it. But the lister that I had before, I'd had her for a year and I didn't review anything because she was
stellar.
I didn't have to review. These ones are about a month old, so I still review what they do. But
so now the question is it like when you hire the new person, did they have, you're like me with the water bottle, did they have experience already, or were they like, okay, they were already, because that's what I was trying to figure out. Should you get somebody new and then teach them the way that you want them to do it, or is it better to just have them already have the experience? Probably better to have,
I think a little, it depends on how controlling you are, and I'm not very controlling at all. And so I didn't want to sit down and teach someone it. So I found 2 people on Upwork, and they had data analytic or compiling data and SEO experience, and one has experience on eBay. And so I hired them. And so it's more just getting them knowing what I like, how I like to ship, and most of the things are fine, but there's little quirks that we all do a little differently. And so it's just teaching them those. And we've had issues with getting access on eBay. So then we were doing stuff in List Perfectly. And then so it was learning how to use List Perfectly and just little things here and there.
Look, Tiana says she wants her VA to do every single thing. Why not? But no, I mean, when you hire them from Upwork, is it like, because I did my first one on Fiverr, but I was thinking about trying this again and maybe getting somebody with some experience. What it's like, I know you probably do a lot of listings per week now, but like, what is your, what did you start out with? Maybe I'll say that, like, and were they overseas? Was it expensive or?
Yeah. So my first person is someone that I met on Instagram. And she was like, I hate taking photos. I hate shopping. I wish I could just list all day. And I was like, I hate listing. Like, let's do this. Right. I'll pay you. And she's been on eBay for like 12 years. So she knew, like, and that's why I say, like, she could list way better than I could, because she's been on eBay significantly longer than I have. So she was in the States. She was, depending on the listing, because some things take, like I did hard goods for a little bit and those took a little bit longer, but it was roughly $1.50 to $2 an item for her.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm doing Upwork. So they are overseas, and one is $5 an hour and one is $7 an hour. And I'm hoping that it's going to end up being cheaper as we're training and learning. It is not, because they're not as quick as she was. And so it's ending up being $2 to $3 an item. But hopefully we'll get to a place where it's, $1 or $1.50 an item.
Yes. Like, I love List Perfectly. I hear you. Yeah. I mean, so do they use, or do you use like a like List Perfectly or any of that Vendu or?
Yeah, I use List Perfectly. I really like the women over it. I mean, I like the product as well, but I really like Clara and Amanda. They've been very, very supportive of me in my analytics and my spreadsheets. I mean, to the extent of reaching out to me, like, we really think you have something going here, Sarah. Let us know how we can help you. We like to see strong women in this community. Like, we're here cheering you on. So I really definitely appreciate them as people. But I do use it more as a data management system, because when you have things on multiple places, it's hard to manage and maintain and keep up with it. And then one of my VAs was having trouble accessing eBay. So I had her do some listings on List Perfectly because she couldn't get into eBay. So.
Oh, she lists 5 items an hour and then relist for 15 an hour. So $4 an hour. Hey, what can I say? You know what I mean? Like,
and that's where I'm trying to get. We've had some complications, not because of them, but just because eBay is eBay, and trying to figure out, like, last week we were spending time. They then had to learn, like, they were fine on eBay, but then they're like, well, I've never used List Perfectly. So then they were having to figure out how to use List Perfectly. But it is nice. It takes something off your plate, and then you know that you have listings. And it also helps me get photos every week, because I know that, like, I want these many listings ready, which means that I have to get them photos every week, right? And so, like, that's the first thing that I do every week, is make sure that I have photos for them so that they can list.
Do you put measurements?
I take pictures of measurements.
Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah, I just wondered, because I was like, okay, I'm putting the way that I'm doing it right now is I'm putting it in the spreadsheet. Whenever I check everything in, then I'm checking everything in, put it in the spreadsheet, and doing the measurements and typing that in too. Because I was like, I'm getting ready for this VA, so I need to have it somewhere. You know what I mean? You're either going to type it in, or I think it might be easier for me to take pictures too. But I didn't want to have, like, the pictures in the listing. I didn't.
The pictures in the listing.
Oh, they're not. Okay, it's just
no. I put pictures in the listing. I personally like having them in the listing. I learned as a hairdresser, everyone has a different perception of how things, like, people would come in and be like, I want red hair, and then I'd give them red hair, and they're like, well, that's too red. I was like, okay, what is red to you, right? And that's why I like taking pictures of my photos, because some people's armpit to armpit is not actually armpit to armpit. And so, like, here's the picture that I actually took that you can see the measurement. And so hopefully people don't, on Poshmark open cases or like, this isn't the size that you said it was. It's like, there's the picture. You can see it and take it how you want.
I like that, though, because it is 2 birds with 1 stone, I guess, because you're doing it as you're taking the picture, so I don't have to type anything in. Because I'm going to the table, measuring it, and then going back, and it's just a lot of back and forth. And I think it might make it easier. So that's something for me to think about. I was like, Okay.
And this is part of like the daily refinement stuff. This is part of the making my processes better. I went from being able to take photos and put them away 10 items in an hour. I'm at like 25 items, and that's photos, measurements, and then putting the item away, which means that I can do more because I can, I'm doing more in less time.
Right. I'm still using the poly mailers too, or the clear poly bags or whatever. And so
Yeah.
I don't think I want to let go of that because I just didn't want anything to get damaged. Even though when I'm doing wholesale orders, I'm getting the stuff and it doesn't even have anything. And some people do send stuff out just raw, or either they just put it in like those little, the tissue. Just use tissue.
No, everything of mine goes in a poly bag too to protect it.
I don't know. I like that. And then I just put a sticker on it, like with all my, and I think that sticker is really important that go on there, because that's giving them a way to contact you just in case something goes wrong with the order before they put in a case. If you don't put nothing but just a little, like literally one of these thank you stickers and that's it, then they don't know that they could reach out to you. I mean, it might be simpler for you to just stick that on there, but if you're going to stick that on there, you could just stick your whole, like mine is, it's a sticker. I just cut it out. I guess it's kind of ghetto, but it works, and I stick that on there, and that's that on that. Like, and it close the, keep it, like I cover up the number or whatever. I cover up the number.
That on there. I make stickers on my thermal printer. Because you can get like on Amazon, I think I got like 10,000 stickers for $30. And then the thermal printer, you're not paying for ink, right? And I put a QR code so they can scan it on their phone. And then they have all of my links that come up, eBay, Poshmark, whatever. And then eBay, you can make a codeless coupon. So I also have one that has a 20% off coupon on it, and it takes you to eBay, but I put it on my Poshmark sales too. I'm like, if Poshmark gives me this, I will put it on my Poshmark sales, but until they do, I'm doing it.
Okay. Tiana says, I also can't wait till I make enough to have 2 good people right here in my state that work and oversee my small team of VAs. Yes, I really want to have somebody personally come. I have realized already that my mom's pretty busy, so she's only going to be able to do it for me a few days a week. Mm-hmm. But she did say that I will come whatever hours you say, and we'll keep that schedule. Unless I have something that comes up, I'll let you know, but I will keep that. So that's the agreement that, okay, if I'm going to be here 3 hours, I'm going to be here these 3 set hours, and I'll have her, and I'll at least get to have one person here. And that's going to be interesting because I'm thinking about doing 2. One VA, and then having her when she comes, because there's no way that she could do it all in 2 or 3 days a week. I need really listings going up every single day. And then because of my my significant other, his profession, he's gone for 5 weeks at a time. And then he comes back. And when he comes back, I don't really have nothing but maybe a couple days, maybe notice. And then it messes me up because then I'm trying to spend time with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it just never seems to pan out. That's what just happened over this past week. I had my mom's 60th birthday party to go to. I had pre-planned events already. I already had stuff going on. And then the Hello Sunday chat, which was a little bigger than I expected it to be, but it was great.
I got on it for a minute. It was awesome to watch. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
It was fun. And I really appreciate you supporting that, by the way. But yeah, I didn't know that so many people in the community would actually do that, just support it like that. And I was like, these people surprise me all the time.
It's an amazing community, which is another reason that I really like it. I feel like there's a couple different stems of the community, and you can definitely get into part of the more drama type community. But if you're, I'm no drama, stay out of it. And if you're kind of in that side of it, I think there's definitely, there's so much support and people just willing to help each other out and promote each other and just really, support and teach each other, there's so much stuff to go around, right? That we can all resell and make some money. There's enough for all of us.
A lot of funny stuff too. I do get on Instagram for the memes and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah.
But Tiana says, do you use polymators that have the suffocation warning? I do, but I don't know. I don't think it's a requirement, but I do.
Right. Well, I use the eBay polymailers. Do they have it on it? I've never thought either.
The clear ones, this little. The bag?
No, not the clear ones. Oh yes, mine do.
They do. Okay, yeah. And I was
Like, yeah. I've never looked at that, Tiana. Like ever.
You do like, is yours like the cellophane like ones, or like, because mine is like they're
No,
not.
I think ours are similar. Yeah, I think ours are similar. I get them on Amazon.
I was like, you can get the ones where you can undo it. Like if you needed to do a measurement or something, somebody needs you to redo something, or you need to take it out for whatever reason. The other kind, you can undo them and put them back in, and it won't be a problem. But these are cheaper and they're quieter.
Yeah, I don't like that. My friend gave me some of those ones, and they're like really stiff. Yeah, I don't. I just don't close anything until I ship it, just in case I need to look at something.
I just leave it open. I might start doing that. Hey, C, welcome.
Hey, C. C has listed for me before too. She knows her eBay too.
Honey, she is so good with eBay. Like she just told me a whole bunch of stuff about eBay that I didn't even know about, and Amazon too. That I just was like, wow.
Oh yeah, she's on it.
A wealth of knowledge over there. Just holding all that in. And I'm like, this ain't right. You need to have a show or something. Teach some people something on that eBay, because she really has some good knowledge. But Tiana says, girl, I cannot have my family come work because we would just be talking and hanging out. I hear you. Hello Sunday was so much fun. Aw, thank you. Facts. There is money for everyone. Oh, no doubt about it. Oh, hey.
Chandra.
Yeah, Chandra.
She was Nikki, and now she's Chandra. I'm trying to keep up. I can't keep up with all her.
I know, right? Oh yeah. See, got us to do like Clubhouse. So that brings me to my next thing. Do you like do any rooms or anything on Clubhouse?
No, I got on when it first started, and I like had an invite, and it was like all the rage. I got on for about a week and a half, and I had 3 incidents happen that were drama, and I was like, I'm good. Like I'm not about that, and there's no like they don't record anything, and so it was like people were saying I said that, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I know a lot of people get a lot of good stuff. I am in a reseller like Mom Friday group, and I get on that every once in a while when I have the time, which honestly is not very often. Just because I do want to support other moms that are resellers. I think it's really a struggle.
Yeah.
When you're a mom. So if I can help them, but I don't. No, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube keep me busy enough. Clubhouse probably has a lot of potential, but I just don't have. I have other things going on right now.
Oh, I totally understand. Like Clubhouse, I'm just intentional. Like I do go dibble and dabble in there here and there, but there is one group that I really like. I don't think Terry's here tonight, but Terry's like in this group that she told me about it, like this Instagram engagement group. And the ladies they're just wonderful. And they just, everybody just basically goes to everybody's listings and like kind of just help everybody out, they'll comment on it or save it or whatever. And you just kind of help other people, you know what I mean? Which I'm all about that. And so I was like, well, this group, I might actually, be in this engagement group. And that would probably be the only thing that I would like regularly do if I do decide to be in there regularly, or at least maybe a couple times a week or something like that, because I just like community, just community involvement in general.
I was just thinking, because I would listen to some stuff, but I wish you could like go places on the sly. Like I don't want, like I would go listen to some rooms. I don't want people to know, because every once in a while I'll go to something. I'm like, oh, Sarah, come up to stage. And I'm like, I don't want to come up to stage. I just want to listen on the creep, right? And I know that I'm in here and like listen while I'm listening or whatever. But then I get, start talking and then there's an hour of my time, right? I'm like, oh, well, I could have taken photos and...
That's the issue. You can end up getting caught up. Oh, she said she likes the mom groups.
Yeah.
I need to probably get in a mom. Well, my daughter's 13 and I only have 1. So I'm like, I'm not like people that have at least 2 or 3 kids. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing, because at this point, she does most of everything for herself for the most part. Like, I don't have to do dinner every day if I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, we can just go get something because it's just the 2 of us or the 3 of us and my guys here. But I mean, it's simple. You know what I mean? Like, it just isn't as much, I think, as if I would have, if I had 2 or 3 kids, I probably would cook, because I know my mom did.
Oh, no, I don't.
But it's funny, like I prefer home cooked food over going out to eat.
I prefer home cooked food if someone else is cooking it, for sure. I don't like doing it.
Right, just home cooked food. I never said that.
Yeah, as long as I'm not the one cooking it.
But I do enjoy something that you just can't go and get somewhere. Like if somebody makes a cake or something like that, I'm like, man, because you can't go to any store and get that. So to me, that made with love, I value that a little bit more than any restaurant, because you can go to that restaurant and get whatever you want, but you can't, because this is just something that somebody made, and not everybody's going to be around forever, obviously. But Tech Clubhouse is going to start paying and monetizing, and I have stopped using it, but that money potential is giving me FOMO.
Well, Tiana, you're on places that already pay. Like, just put your money, like you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram. If you put TikTok, is she on TikTok? I don't know. I'm not on TikTok that
I don't think she's on TikTok.
Okay, she's on YouTube. Yeah, you put your time and money into that. That is paying you, because eventually maybe Clubhouse will, but then you have to like do it without. Like YouTube legit pays you. And YouTube to me is very much like the eBay. They've been around forever. They know what they're doing. You give them what they want and they're going to reward you for that. And it's the big hitter, right? If you have a large audience on YouTube, you're going to get paid promotions coming after you and stuff. YouTube is still kind of a little baby. Yeah. Not YouTube. Clubhouse is still kind of a little baby, and not against it, but like put your time into energy, Tiana, because I know you have like a zillion things going on. You don't need one more thing.
Right. And that's where I'm at. I just I realize that I can only take on so many projects, and if you're trying to build, I just feel like you can't try to build several things at once. It just, especially if it's something that takes up a decent amount of time, like learning YouTube and learning, what's working and what's not working. To me, I feel like that takes a lot of time. Now, I don't know about you, but you know what I mean? I noticed, how many videos do you do per week on YouTube?
I'm at like 4 right now. It does take a lot of time though. I mean, I've been on for 2 years, and only the past 6 months have I been like, I should probably like intentionally do this and like pay attention, maybe watch some videos on how to YouTube. And so but this is because I was doing reselling, right? I was like trying to get my reselling. You can only really focus on one thing, and reselling was it last year. And now I'm like, I think I have reselling, kind of on, smooth sailing for the most part. Then now I can really put time and energy into learning YouTube and making good titles and thumbnails. And it's very time consuming.
Someone was telling me that I think you have to have, because I don't think I even have 50 videos yet. So I was like, you need to have at least 50 videos up before you're going to start seeing like some traction, I guess, on your videos, like getting more views and stuff. And I was like, well, I do see some people that only have so many videos, and they don't even have 10 videos up. And I guess it just depends on what you're talking about. Because I don't know. I was like, how did they get 2.1, K followers, and they don't even have that many videos? You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at the topics like, maybe I need to,
It definitely depends on the niche. I think resellers, because we all basically have the same content, right? There's not like so many new ways. So you just have to find ways that people connect with you. But you have so many people in the chat and coming from Instagram that you're already building up those people, right? Like you already have that. Yeah. So I think it just depends. I've never heard that 50 video. I think it just depends on niche and what you're the content you're putting out.
Well, I was gonna say, how did you end up getting started with the YouTube? Like after you got the reselling thing going. I mean, I know you said, how long have you been on here? 2 years? Mm-hmm. Like, so how did you get started? And then when did you start doing more with it?
I started doing more with it like 3 months ago. I am the worst YouTuber. I'm being intentional now, but before I was not. I started with it because I have a dashboard. So I put out a dashboard, and I was like, if I want people to know about this, I have to do like social media, right? Otherwise, no one's going to know about it. Maybe a couple of people will stumble on Etsy, but like if I do social media. So I started with it to promote my dashboard, to teach people numbers, but really to promote the dashboards. But I didn't have a YouTube account until I started a YouTube channel. I don't watch YouTube. I still don't watch a lot of YouTube, which does not make me a good content creator, because I'm like, I don't know what people look for because I don't watch, so I've been more intentional in watching YouTube just so I can see it from the other side, what people are looking at and how they perceive things. And so I kind of just jumped in and started doing it, but I was not very intentional. I think as resellers, we have a leg up because we already understand photos and SEOs. I mean, it's obviously a little different for social media, but like we already know how algorithms work and we already understand what an SEO is. And, you know, you want to make pictures look pretty, you know, to get people, catch people's attention. So I think that kind of helped me as I was just kind of throwing stuff at YouTube and hoping it would stick. There was a point when I was doing like one video a week or a month, because I was like, I don't want to stop this, but it's so overwhelming. Yeah. I just can't.
Was it the editing? Like, because for me right now, that's where I'm at. I'm just like, this editing is like, I cannot be taking 2 hours or, you know, so to do a video. Like, this is too long. Like, it's killing me right now. Like, but I mean, I think if I keep doing them, I'll get faster. That's what I keep telling myself. You'll start learning this and you'll get faster. Right now, I'm just using InShot on my phone, but I'm like, okay, first of all, you probably need a better software editing, maybe Filmora, or I don't know. What do you use?
I use iMovie. I have a Mac, and iMovie is just what comes on the Mac, and so I use that. But I had never edited a video before. It definitely, when I first started it, it would take me probably 5 or 6 hours start to finish to do a YouTube video. You know, by the time you like build the content and film it and edit it and upload it and do all of the things, you know, there's so many check marks and everything you have to do on YouTube to upload it. And now I'm going to be honest, the past couple of months, I have not been editing my videos at all because I hated it and it was making me not put content out, you know, because I was like, I don't want to make a video because I don't want to edit it. So then I would stop making videos. And so the past couple of months, I was like, well, I'm just going to put videos out and see how they do and see if I can get away with not editing them. And they've done pretty well, but I'm getting back into like editing a little bit more, but not as time consuming. But as you do it longer, you know, like I don't have to edit out me fumbling over my words because I've done it so many times that I like have an intro and I can get like straight to the point. In my videos, I like to get straight to the point, but so as you get better at it, you just feel the flow a little bit better, but it's still very time consuming. I mean, multiple hours to make one 10-minute video.
Keisha says she loves watching everything on YouTube. I like to watch YouTube too. I am a YouTube watcher. I do a lot of watching on that, but I kind of watch too, not just to you know, I'm trying to see what's going on in community. Like, what is everybody else doing? You know what I mean? Like, and what can I do to help my situation, you know, or whatever I'm doing? What do I maybe need to incorporate or what's missing from my particular videos or whatever? And so I watch other people's videos, not just for the content, but to see what I might be missing too, since I'm in the process of building. So I try to pay attention to that. How fast did they get to the point? You know what I'm saying? Because that first 10 seconds is important. You know, that's what I heard.
My husband's a very big YouTuber. He has YouTube on all day, even when he's working in the background. And so he's like, he'll tell me tips. He's like, I watch a lot of YouTube, and he watches not reselling content, but you know, YouTube, and he'll give me tips and tricks. But I have started watching more just to see the other side. It's like Clubhouse to me again. It's such a tight, because I can't just passively watch it. I have to, like, I had a couple hauls on today while I was trying to do photos, and I was so slow because I kept wanting to look. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, let me type something. And so I was like, so I'm now intentionally like trying to watch 1 or 2 a week. And then I have to like cut myself off. Or otherwise I'm like, I'm going to watch one how-to video on like how to edit something. And then 3 hours later, I'm like, cool, I've watched that entire channel's playlist. And now I know all the things.
Just not even watch the whole thing. Unfortunately, that's kind of bad, because then that's where I'm trying to figure out how am I only getting 2 or 3 minutes. You're doing the same thing. You're going in, and in 2 or 3 minutes, you're saying, okay, because I don't have time to actually watch the whole video, but I at least wanted to let them know, you know, that I was here and I saw what they had to say. I might not watch the whole thing, but I saw most of it, or I might have to fast forward through to see something in the middle so that I can have something else to say about whatever they were doing. But I just wanted to let them know that I was there. It's the support that I think matters more to me. Like, I'm like wanting to let you know that I watched your video. You know what I mean? So if I watch watch it.
Well, and that's how, with you yesterday. And I wanted to watch it all, but I think it was like right at bedtime. And so the kids were being nice and it came up and I was like, cool, I'm going to pop on for a minute and watch as long as the kids will let me. And I think it was like 10 minutes, which is pretty good at bedtime. But I do have to, I'm headed off to my live after this. So you guys
Yes,
can
I was like,
there.
Gotta go, but we can answer.
Yeah, I do have to go because I have the people waiting backstage for me. But thank you so much for having me, Brittany, and everyone in the chat, the new people that I don't know, and everyone else that came out to support. I will be live on my channel in 8 minutes. So I have to go fill up my water bottle and let everyone in. So.
Bye. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody. I wanted to let you guys know I'll be back here tomorrow. She had to go ahead and go get on her live, but I'll be back here tomorrow with the Posh Kings. They'll be on at the same time, 6 p.m. because they have to get their beauty sleep. Like I said, normally my Tuesday show is Success is a Mindset, and it's normally at 7 p.m. But as I'm starting to get older, I'm starting to notice that I'm starting to get a little sleepy earlier too. Like today, I was like, okay, I'm tired. It's Monday. I really don't want to put on no makeup and do all this extra. So, you know what I mean? Like, no makeup today. I'm just chilling. But tomorrow, I will see you guys back on here with the Posh Kings. It will be exciting, I promise. And I will see you guys later. If you guys want, you can go ahead and tune in to Sarah Styles Live. She's awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. Have a good night.